where I had a friend that I was really cool with, then I had another friend I was really cool with, and I introduced them, and then they became cooler friends than even with me, and then they was like hanging out, and I'm like, damn, what about me? You know, y'all introduced y'all. How y'all went out without me and didn't let me know, right? You feel a little bit upset about that. I've been guilty of that. I think we're all human. We've been guilty of it at some point. But it's a new age, a new form of crabs in a barrel. Why am I upset that you and that friend is having fun and you know, y'all connected and whatnot? I should be happy that I connected two people, right? So I'm saying this because it happens in multiple forms. There are some parents that are not happy if their child is doing better than them. I didn't think that was possible, right? Because to me, I'm like, oh, I'm all about, I want my kids to get that head start. I want them to do better than what I have, whatever I do. Neo Souls, I never knew what the heck you did all this time until I saw you on Sierra's Live. Even after seeing me on Sierra's Live, Neo Souls, you probably still don't know what I do because I do so many things. So that's what we're going to get into tonight. But I wanted to start this preemptive strike about just talking about watching out for certain people, right? Because this new form of crabs in a barrel, at least from my perspective, crabs in a barrel mentality was, oh, somebody's coming up in the neighborhood and then you jealous of them and you pulling them back down, right? But there's other iterations of it, other forms of it. And one of them is some mentors who they're not really out for your best interest. They're out for their best interest, lining their pockets. And then they're okay if you succeed because they're going to take the credit from your success. But if you get more attention or limelight than them, then they may get a little bit jealous and then they're going to start doing little things against you. Same thing with some parents who don't really want to see their child succeed, so they may hold them back. Same thing with like I said, with some people, when you have a friend and you introduce two friends and then they become closer and then you're like a little jealous about it. We have to consciously think about those things to make sure that we don't fall into those traps. And I said, I've done that before too, where I've introduced two people. I'm like, oh, well, damn, y'all are more tight than me. And, you know, I introduced y'all, right? But it's been a long time since I've done that because I know of that situation. So I'm conscious of it. So I make sure that I never act in those ways, right? That's why a lot of people say that I'm the connector. I bring a lot of people together because I feel like we all should come together. I feel that our collaboration is more important than our competition. We can compete in other ways, but I like competing as a sparring partner, not competing to see you fall, to see you fail, right? So I just wanted to start off with that because I feel like that mindset is the most critical thing going into 2022. If you don't already have that mindset, right? So going into 2020, they going real slow and happy with my Christmas music, but that's okay. We're gonna let it go and rock out. So that's what I wanted to start off with. Now let's get into what are you doing? What are you preparing for 2022? Now before we get started, because everybody always comes to me for like, hey, Bees, what other gem you gonna drop? That type of thing, right? And I always drop some gems. I got to, you know what I mean? But today was supposed to be more just motivation, strategy, planning. But I got to drop one quick gem for y'all. First of all, Neo Soul said, yes, you were so right. Coaches only caring about their pockets. That's why people don't want to buy courses. It's not that we don't want to invest in ourselves. We just see through the BS excuse. 100%. It's sad. It's sad because then there's people who have actual valuable information, actually care about seeing people succeed and care about uplifting people. But immediately they're going to be hit with mistrust or distrust because they're like, other people have been scarred by other mentors and things like that. That's one of the reasons I don't sell too much. I lead with value, right? If my value resonates with you, if I resonate with you, because look at my brother Derek Harper. Derek Harper and I speak. Look at Connie S. Falls. I'm trying to bring Connie Falls on here right now. Me, Connie, and Derek kind of talk about the same things. You know, we have a little bit difference on certain things. But why do I bring them on? Why do I say, hey, if you're in the flipping businesses, you definitely got to check out Rock with me, but also check out my guy, Derek Harper. He can also show you how to do it. Why would I even say that? Because to me, that's more important. I'm showing you people who I feel that y'all could trust as well. And you may resonate with, Derek like to say he from the hood. he say, he's straight from the old school Atlanta, and he knows songs that I don't know about. Like, I just heard about that song where it's like, and swag, and everybody start going like this, and swag. I ain't never heard that song before, like last year. But you want to come to me and talk about some reggae? Yes, I got you. You want to talk about some Brooklyn, some New York hip hop from the 90s? I got you. So most people go resonate with me for that, but they may resonate with Derek for, the down south, dirty south, whatever. Connie, because they ain't gonna resonate because she's just that beautiful soul. She's just such an amazing person. You know what I'm saying? So, all I'm saying, don't tell nobody. It's the truth, though. It's the truth. You resonate with different people, right? So, still, go check those different people. That's why I share whatever is out there. Connie,
B,
how you doing, my friend? How you doing?
Not that I went and did my hair any better than what it was, but at least I'm not as homeless as I was a second ago.
You're always looking beautiful. I don't know what you're talking about. I wanted to see what your hair looked like, though, when you was before you go and did it.
The up in a bun and raggedy. It's like one level of raggedy off.
True. So I think this is the perfect time to have you on here, right? Because normally I come on and I talk about business strategies, or I get in and I start going into funding, right? Because, those are some of the main things that I focus on. Or I start talking about process systems and people and structuring your business. Or I start talking about, or I start talking about what we've been doing in the Business Builders Institute recently is showing people how to flip businesses, how to acquire businesses. It's literally just M&A, mergers and acquisition, but I've tried to make it, I try to simplify it based off of what I've executed on. And then, realizing that there's a lot of fluff in there, a lot of jargon, a lot of things that, scared me in the beginning. So then I kind of dumbed it down for myself. So now I'm like, okay, I can share that with other people, right? So normally I come on and I'm talking about all these type of things. But today I wanted to talk about just planning in general. It's not just about systems or anything, although it does fall back to it, to be honest. But planning in general. When you go into a new year, Connie, do you create New Year's resolutions?
So my resolutions are a little bit different. My resolutions are more based personal than they are business. That's where I start. Because I'll use, for example, 2020, going into 2020, I didn't have a financial goal. I wanted my name to be synonymous with the word systems. So I had no financial goal. I had no number goal when it came to the number of clients I wanted to bring in. I had no Instagram follower goal. My only goal in 2020 was to make my name synonymous with systems. I wanted everybody, I don't care what the scenario was, what type of systems, if they're talking about radio systems, if they're talking about solar system, they were going to be like, Connie S. Falls and asks for systems. That's the only thing I cared about all 2020. Because before that, nobody really, I'm Tommy, so nobody really knew what I did for a living. They were like, you ain't got no job. So for me, only goal, hey, Jonathan, my only goal for 2020 was just that. So that personal goal, that was personal to me, and it was great for my business. Now, when I moved into 2021, my goal there was, okay, I want to be able to impact 100 businesses positively in making sure that they had systems in place. And yes, Mike, please say the baby, please say the baby, please say the systems, please, every single time. Big money, Mitch. But I say that because we get so stuck in the space of just making goals for when it comes to our business that we forget about our real life. I wanted to see, my friends more than I had seen them before. I'm actually in California, my best friend's house. My goal was to see my best friend 4 times in a year, which is more than I've seen her since we were in high school. So I had a lot of personal goals in addition to my business goal. I wanted to be able to get my book out. I wanted to be able to get my course done, which I'm still working on up to the last moment. But I did all these things intentional because many of us as entrepreneurs already live in a space of anxiety. I have ADHD, high anxiety, and I'm coming out of a lifetime full of depression. So the emotions are up and down. And we put these on ourselves that are so overwhelming and so big and so dramatic that we feel overwhelmed and we don't feel accomplished. And I've lived in that space for so long. So for me,
Yep.
I didn't just make outlandish goals. I made realistic goals. I want to see my best friend 4 times in a year. I want to make sure that I'm impacting 100 businesses, which is realistic. I want to have a course that impacts 1,000 businesses, and I'm not going to charge the price that everybody wants me to charge, which is $5,000 and $10,000. I'm gonna make it $1,000. I could reach 1,000 companies at $1,000 for each course. That's $1 million. So that part is easy. So I made my goal. They didn't have to be big and rambunctious and wild and crazy. I made them realistic so they didn't create any more anxiety that I already had on myself. So for those of you guys that are in this business space, it's already overwhelming. Entrepreneurship is overwhelming and sometimes it's lonely. And unless you're able to move, most people's brain doesn't move like a bee's. Bees is one of the most brilliant people that I know. And for any of you guys watching, if you're not a part of his group, you need to be, because I don't know many people that are able to function with that many businesses at a high level and still be able to function and get on here and pour into people for free. So again, if you're not a part of that, you should be, because he is one of the very few people that genuinely pours and loves and makes sure that people are okay. I was just telling my best friend when I saw you on, I was like, yo, if I told Bees like, hey, we're going to do a small group out here in California, we're just going to talk tomorrow and we're going to pour into people about business, I said, Bees is going to fly all the way out here. And then you're going to leave out. But that's
and then what? And then what?
And then you're going to fly back out. You're going to be out.
The same the same day.
You out of here. I'm talking about Bees being in Atlanta. I'm like, bro, I just saw you on live earlier in Florida. Here. Type of people, because most folks don't have all of that. The easiest way to be, one, is to be a part of those types of groups, and two, to set realistic goals for yourself. So don't set yourself up for failure by trying to overdo your goals for the year because they have to be so grandeur. It could just be something that's small. Break it down into small size pieces so that way you feel accomplished as you accomplish them.
Woo, I love it. See, I shouldn't have brought Connie on here, because Connie gonna make us go into the conversation that we always go into, because it just all falls back to it, right? We talking about just strategy and just planning for the next year, but you got to have goals, and they have to be SMART goals. And I know Connie already knows that acronym, and she already talking about it, so you might as well just explain what the acronym means so that everybody knows.
Because I don't see. Here's the thing. I want y'all to be real. Somebody put down one of their goals in the chat. Just put one of your goals down.
One of your 2022 goals.
One of your
personal or business. Just put something in the chat. Let's see what y'all putting up.
Just put something in there before we get into acronyms and y'all be overwhelmed. Just put one thing in there. My one thing, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Bees, my one thing that I was supposed to do this year was to create my course. Now I'm talking about everybody that been in my head. From Jose to Marcus Y. Rose, Ramadi. I've been by everybody. And it's been the one thing that I was so overwhelmed by, and I was scared to do it, and I was like, even though I know how helpful it would be, I know how great people would be, but that was really my one singular goal that I had this year. And it's November, and I'm still working on it. So again, but I feel more peaceful this year than I've felt many other years, because I had that one thing in mind, and I can break it off one piece. This month, I'm going to focus on the framework. Marcus Y. Rozier helped me with this. This year, I'm going to focus on this. And I broke it down to where it was realistic for me, because I don't want to be overwhelmed. I don't want my anxiety to be up through the roof. I don't want to have to take Adderall